We're at the League of Legends College Championship in Santa Monica, California. I am here with Prototype, coming off of a 3-0 sweep of Robert Morris University ahead of the finals. Maryville University in the finals. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm a little bit disappointed in the play, game 1 and 2. But I took some time to look back into it and during our huddles after the game, and checked out my mistakes and figured out what I need to do to improve in game 3.
Yeah, in game 3, you guys had that great late game comeback, and you had back-to-back quadra kills, which was very exciting to see. After the first 2 games that went a little bit more rough, at least individually, how did you dig deep and bounce back and still have a solid game 3 after those first 2 games?
So I realized after game 2 that my team was playing really, really well. And I've never actually seen them play that well, even like in scrims. So when it came down to it, I just took a step back in game 3, and I was just like, okay, my team's playing well. I'm not doing too hot in this tournament, and I just focused entirely on my own play. So when it came down to the team fights, which is my time to shine, I basically just looked at the most important skill shots that I needed to dodge, and then just knew that if I did, we would win those fights.
I want to talk about the Kled pick, because that seemed to be a very big pick for you guys as a team. But I was also speaking to some other people in the press room, and I found out that West, the top laner for RMU, is responsible for kind of bringing that sort of into the college meta in the forefront. Was that originally just a takeaway pick from him, or did you guys practice that a lot, for yourselves as well?
So we actually know that Fiora is a hard counter to Kled, and we constantly saw them ban Fiora, and we're just like, okay, well, they're banning Fiora and they want Kled, so we're just like, let's just take Kled from him. And we knew that Saskia was playing really, really well, and so we just kept giving him the Kled. And the only problem with handing over Kled is that we know that they can get Shen, and that's where our bot lane struggles to deal with it, because we know we have better mechanics than their bot lane, and we can go for those solo kills. But just the fact that Shen is on the map, we're just like, okay, well, we have to play passive and then just let Saskia do his thing.
I want to talk a bit about your style as a player. You're actually very unique in the fact that you take exhaust instead of heal, and usually it seems like your support, Papa Chow, is taking the heal for you. Can you explain the reasoning behind the exhaust on AD carries for you?
So I think it was 2 years ago when they first introduced the Keystone Masteries. Riot made the Wind Speakers Mastery, and I took it, I always come up with my own strategies. I don't look at the pro meta and just be like, okay, that's what they're doing, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I played a whole bunch of games of solo queue, and I'm just like, wait, Wind Speakers affects all healing from all sources. So I was like, why not just put the heal on support, and maybe ADC could take barrier or exhaust. Barrier wasn't too strong at the time, so I just started running with exhaust, and I just kept telling my duos to just take heal and then Wind Speakers, and then you can get Ardent Sensor plus Mikhail's and I think Redemption as well, and then you can have a 50% stronger heal if you just put it on the support over the ADC. So I started adapting that strategy, and it's pretty fun doing it, mainly because the amount of times I come across pros in solo queue and I exhaust them, and then in all chat they're just like, wait, he has exhaust? That's why I'm losing the 1v1. So it felt pretty good, and it did come in clutch 2 or 3 times in the last game where it came down to me versus Caitlyn, and I just exhaust her and I come out with full health because she's dealing no damage. So it felt pretty good to prove that exhaust is actually pretty good on ADC.
The first time I ever saw you play was you were on I believe, a challenger team called Final 5 near the end of Season 4 to get into the Season 5 LCS, the promotion tournament. When you used to take exhaust there as well, you played a lot of Vayne, Jinx, Caitlyn, and that was that's when I first saw you kind of running the flash exhaust sort of summoner spells.
Actually, we were running exhaust ignite in that meta. So
with ignite and support, right?
Yes. So we were running exhaust ignite back in the day, and then they buffed heal or something, and then heal became the dominant support, or not support, but summoner spell to take in bot lane. And then we just sort of transitioned it after ignite got nerfed a few times and heal got buffed a few times. But yeah, that was the first tournament I started taking exhaust in.
Okay, so that was a new thing back then, and you've kept it all the way through all of these meta changes and the new Keystone Masteries. Do you feel like the logic in taking it is you still take it for the same reasons in terms of your play style? How has Prototype changed as a player from the challenger player back in Season 4 to the college star now?
So I've mostly just refined my mechanics through solo queue play, and then I've always wanted a macro coach to help me out with my play. So I think the first time I've actually had a real macro coach was like started 2 to 3 months ago. So everything else I've had to start like watching LCS and LCK and just looking at VODs to see how like AD carries like Double Lift and Wild Turtle and Bang from SKT move around the map, and like when are they going to move around, how are they pressuring their lanes, how are matchups going. And then recently we got Sojin as a coach who has mostly been helping out our jungler and mid in terms of macro. And I've been working with a few LCS or Challenger Series coaches such as Hermit, who's been helping me out a lot as an individual on the macro play. So it's a little bit more work, and I feel like I can become a much better player.
Has the change in esports, at least in North America and the Western culture, with coaches coming more to the forefront as an actual like career path and a necessary position in an organization, as well as the overall development of League of Legends competitive play in this region, what has changed from that infrastructure in Final Five as a challenger team to being on a college team now? Is it really different? Are there things that are still pretty similar?
The most dramatic difference is that the coaching staff. I've had really bad experiences in the past with coaches who basically don't really explain things. They just think that they're like so high and mighty, and they go, "This is what you're doing because I said so." And then I'm like, "Okay, why do I do this and when?" And then they are unable to explain it. They just tell you what to do, and then you go into a scrim, you like do exactly what they say, and then it doesn't end up working, and then they sort of blame you for it. And I just didn't understand that. So then I lost a lot of faith in coaches over the years. And then I started working with Hermit, and like he just totally opened my eyes on how important a coach is. And I mean, it just started helping me out more. So I feel like I'm a lot better player now than I was on a F5.
Pro tip, last question. Maryville University now goes to the finals. Your road this weekend started on Thursday with a defeat of the reigning champion, right? University of British Columbia, who won the last 2 years. Has the mentality of your team changed since that first match to this point now?
We originally thought that we were going to 2-0 UBC. We had a small hiccup in game 1 with the draft, and I'm not sure if it was a leak or it was a really good read by them to ban my Jinx out second rotation, but props to them for that kind of read. And we realized we had to adjust the draft. We ended up making the correct changes and just cleaned up the second and third game. Coming into the RMU match, we expected a 3-1. Like, we didn't expect to just 3-0 them. And the first 2 games, to be honest, were kind of easy in terms of, like, if I just played better, we probably would have had sub 20-minute games. But I think that definitely our team stepped up, and I think tomorrow's match is going to be a 3-1 in favor of us.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing that. Thank you so much for the interview. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans or supporters over the years?
Thanks to everyone who supported me, all my Twitch fans who like to meme all the time about my exhaust on ADC, and shout out to my parents for flying out for this tournament, and shout out to my girlfriend who's always supported me.
Make sure to watch Maryville University tomorrow in the College Championship Finals against the University of Toronto. And for everything else esports, you can go to hala.com.